This is Jesus in Jesus Walks the World, and I'm going to talk about my experiences in Mexico City and why I want to move and why I want to pursue this. And when I was there is the first time I saw my culture in real life. I saw things that I grew up with, and I felt really good about it. I felt really good about it because when I was there, people accepted me. I didn't feel like I was a threat. People were like me, brown or tan, whatever you want to call it. And I wasn't seen like a menace to society. And I loved it, especially like looking at like Mexican lucha, wrestling, Mexican like mass wrestling, and I was amazed because I wanted to be like Rey Mysterio when I was growing up, and it was amazing. It was amazing to see my culture, and I felt like I was at home. People weren't harassing me. People weren't giving me those eyes that they were like judging me, being biased. Oh, watch out for that Mexican. He might rob you. And especially when I saw like La Gente de Independencia, I was like, whoa, this is something that I saw in the novelas, in the Mexican novelas. And I swear I was there for like about an hour and a half. And I was just very amazed that I saw this my whole life growing up as a kid. And I always wanted to see it. It was an icon when I was little. And I also went to the museum, museum, and I saw a lot of like Aztec relics that I never thought that I would see. It exceeded my expectations, and I was just reading all day. I was there for maybe like 3 hours, and I never seen something like that. There was more stuff. Like everything was there. Everything that I wanted to see was there, and I was just my jaws dropped because I grew up with this, especially like growing up in a very Mexican American neighborhood where like these icons of Aztec relics, especially Olmeca, you see here, like you just saw it, you saw your whole life. And that's something that like I was very happy to see. And especially seeing the Aztec calendar. The Aztec calendar was just an amazing spectacle. I was amazed that I finally got to see it. I just couldn't stop seeing it. Like I wanted to stay there the whole day. I took pictures as much as I could. It was just something to like. It was just felt like amazing. It was a very spiritual, very like. It was an icon, especially seeing Quetzalcoatl, and Quetzalcoatl was something that you also see in one of Jesus Helguera's paintings. And I love like dragons, even though it's a snake, and that's something that I also grew up with. And again, people weren't biased. I was there. I was being Mexican. Everybody's Mexican. People were brown. I didn't feel like a threat. They didn't feel like a threat. I just blended in. But of course, if I would speak, people would obviously know that I wasn't from Mexico, and people would obviously like know right away. Like there's no I can't just do that. Right? I can't get away. So my words are very minimal. And here you also see El Centro, and it looks very European, but more colonial, like Spanish colonial. And you see the famous church. And fun fact, they buried everything. Like the Spaniards, the conquistadores, they buried everything, and then they used the rocks to make the buildings that you see now. And they also discovered ruins under Mexico City. And again, I felt right at home, especially seeing like some Aztec people. Obviously they're Mexican, but they're dressed in Aztec traditional tribal, and then they're doing the dances. It's something I grew up seeing in Little Village, Chicago, and Pilsen. But the fact that this is the real thing, this is the real deal. And I was just amazed, and I wanted to take a picture with them, and I felt at home. I didn't feel like a tourist. I felt like I belonged there. I didn't feel alienated. People did not look at me like why are you here? What's going on? And why are you so brown? Like you don't belong here. But I felt at home, and I fell in love with the architecture. Kind of reminds me of El Chavo del Ocho a little bit, but at the same time, it looks beautiful. Like even this place here, it looks very colonial and very fancy to me. And again, looking back, I just felt like I was at home. I felt like I belong here, and that's why I want to like one day buy a house, a condo or something, and just stay here. Like I could see why like people in the 1950s, 60s, when Diego Rivera and Frida Kahlo were still alive, and I could see why Mexico was a very attractive place to go, and the reason why a lot of artists wanted to come here. And I see it. I see that charm. And I was here at Tianguis, saw a lot of rock stuff, a lot of heavy metal, emo, things dedicated to ska, being dark. And it was amazing. I saw a lot of like rock stuff, especially here. They were doing like an underground like rock scene, and people were just drinking like caguamas, which is like a 40, in America, and it was just cool. Like people weren't even looking at me like I didn't belong there. This is a Foro Cultura Alicia. It's actually closed now. Unfortunately they closed it. It kind of reminds me of the Metro of Chicago, and it was fun because everybody was moving. Nobody was standing. Everybody was just jumping, like jumping jelly beans. Even the women were jumping. They went crazy. In Chicago, they'll just be standing there acting like they're too cool to dance. But as you can see, like there's a lot of girls dancing, bopping their heads, jumping around, like they just didn't care, like they were going crazy, and they were just dancing as much as guys. Look, this girl right here just dancing like she don't care. You don't see that. You don't see them. You don't see women dancing in Chicago. They're more reserved. They think they're so cool, or I don't know. That's just me, and And as you can see, everybody's here going crazy. And I even met a girl here, like she's right there with the highlights. Like I don't have it recorded, but we actually went on a date, and that never happens to me in Chicago, never. And we had a great time, and there's really cool people wearing masks. That's La Parca, and people were just dancing around. They just didn't care. Everybody was dancing. It almost felt like if you didn't dance, you weren't cool or something. And people were just going freaking crazy, just out of their mind. And the music was really cool, and I just enjoyed myself, I'm not gonna lie. That's the Parca again from WCW, And there's a lot I'm not gonna lie though, it was very musty, but I didn't care, I came for the show. People were having fun, the vibe was good. People were drinking, people were just going crazy. Look at this guy, he looks like a Rey Mysterio, like, variant. And he was just going nuts. And people, look at this, just going crazy. There's a couple, they're wearing masks. You don't see that. Like, look at this guy. And people were talented, very talented. Like, Mexicans are talented. Like, it's crazy, and that's why you see them in America, you see them in America, like, playing, especially in Chicago. Whenever you see a guy from Mexico City play, everybody's there because they know that their ska, their punk is gonna sound really amazing. There's also even jazz, but I'm not sure if it was jazz, but it was cool. Talented people, very very talented. Like, they're they're very talented people, and I really really want to come back again, and I just want to show the world that, like, how Mexico City is. Even though there's a lot of bad rep, they're saying that Mexico City is dangerous, but it's not dangerous. It's a very cultural place. It's a very world-class place. It doesn't even feel like a third world city like people say it, but no, it's literally a class in its own, in my opinion. It's so much fun, so much culture, and people are so nice, and people are just so like they just don't care. They love people. They don't judge you, and they're very accepted. Like, people just, they like people, and I I wish that more people knew about this side of Mexico City rather than seeing it like it's a. But yeah, enough of that. We here you see the Museo Arte de Moderno de Mexico. I grew up seeing this image of Frida Kahlo, the two Fridas. My jaws dropped. Siquieros. That's a teacher that's my teacher's teacher, and to seeing his stuff really it's amazing. Especially Jose Clemente Orozco. Like I grew up seeing these icons, especially Diego Rivera. Diego Rivera, and I was just amazed from what I saw, and it's just their stuff is really world class, and I'm not gonna lie, I wish everybody would see this, and I'm here showing you. You don't see these things too often, and I want everybody to experience this again, and I just love Mexico City. It's a place that I feel accepted. I don't feel like I'm being discriminated. Especially the pyramids. The pyramids are amazing. Yeah, it was like, wow, it's crazy that my ancestors did this. And I saw the Aztec temples, and I stood there I want to say 5 hours. I climbed these steps, and I was just amazed that my people from the past were able to do this, especially the Pyramid of the Sun. That thing was massive. But yeah, this is Mexico City, and again, the big flag is actually very intriguing. And this was the last day when I was there, and I felt I guess a little bit sad that I was leaving. That's why you hear the sad song. It's an oldies, and yeah, this is my video, and have a great day, and hopefully you get to see Mexico City, a side that I got to see. And chile relleno taco, who would have thought? Carbs over carbs, who would have thought? And especially the discotecas, they were really cool. It's my friend Enrique, and people were just having fun. People were dancing, people were talking. As you can see, there was barely people on their phones. I felt like I was in 2005 or something. And even couples, look at this couple. Even this one, you don't see that too often, where regular people going out. That's something, this is something you don't see. Just regular people, people just, in America, this wouldn't be it. And I feel like I belong here. I felt that's why I took a picture of these couples. It's the world that I once knew. People in America just have crazy high standards, and I just don't know what to do anymore. I feel like I just gotta go back there somehow, and just stay there, and maybe just permanently be there. Just people are much more happy. Well, this is the end, and this is Chucho. This is my little mini podcast about Mexico, my little Mexican trip that I want to show you from Mexico City. And again, subscribe to Jesus Walks the World. Bye.